Hello, dear friends. Here we are, 10 exercises on peacemaking skills. Who doesn't need peacemaking skills? We all do. We are not born knowing it, but we have the seeds inside of us, but we need to cultivate it. And we all know we don't go to school to learn about peacemaking skills. Even in our religious locations, organizations, and even spiritist centers, we don't have actual courses on it. But as the spirits told Kardec, and it's published in the third part of the Spirit's book, first chapter about the natural and divine laws, the spirits explain to Kardec, we need to know the details of the law so we become more compliant. And that's why we're dedicating this 10 days. And you have been with us in this beautiful journey. And today we have titled Peace is Health and Spiritual Joy. And to discuss it, we have here our dear friend, Luis Sergio Marota. Hello, Luis. How are you, Luis Sergio?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all here in Kardec Radio viewers and listeners all together.
Yes.
Very nice to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. And Luis is with us from Brazil. He lives in Belo Horizonte. But, he has been contributing big time with Kardec Radio. He is the host of the program on the Gospel According to Spiritism. And in Brazil, he's one of the founding members of the Saber Grupo, Pode Saber episodes. And Luis Sergio, would you like to tell us a little bit more, like website and other centers that you are affiliated with and the works, just so people know a little more about you?
Yes, I've been working in the spiritist field for more than 30 years now, right? And with the Portal Saber, it's portalsaber.com, www.portalsaber.com. It's a group of friends who get together and we make videos and podcasts about Spiritism and Christianity, Kardec, and the like. That's what I've been doing. I also work in the field of mediumistic meetings and circles here in Brazil, together with some mediums, some meetings. And I'm a lecturer too. I usually speak in many different spiritist centers all over the capital, which is Belo Horizonte, and other states too. That's all for now. My curriculum is just that, and not that big.
That's good. And, for people who'd like to listen to the Gospel According to Spiritism, just go to kardecradio.com or iTunes or the podcasts, and you can listen to every chapter. He reads, he explains, and it's a unique opportunity for people to listen to this book that has been changing many lives around the world. Right, Luis Sergio?
Mm-hmm. Yes. This book for me, it's very important because many people don't understand. Many people think that Kardec wanted to please the Catholic Church by writing that book. This is nonsense, He, not only didn't he want to do that, but he also suffered a lot because he wrote that book at that time. So it's such an important book that the Spirit said, look, after you write this book, you're going to face the music. Things are going to be really rough to you. And that's what really happened because it breaks paradigm. Just right at the beginning of the book, Kardec says that the focus of the book is the moral aspect, not dogmas, not discussions about the acts of Jesus Christ's life or the predictions or anything like that. He just wanted to focus on the moral aspect. And the moral aspect, he says, is around which everyone can be united. Every cult, every religion cannot deny that this is the highest meaning of the book and the highest focus of the book. And this makes us free to speak about that. And this is a book for all religions, all cults.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's very good. Luis Sergio, we're very privileged to have you and your connection with the friends there in Belo Horizonte in Brazil, because as we're just discussing before going on air, you guys have been studying like true scholars on spiritism, digging deeper about the science of the spirits and bringing to us the importance of really applying these teachings. Now more than ever, Luis Sergio, you know that we need to prioritize our lives
Yes.
as spiritual beings. You want to make a comment in that regard, Luis Sergio, irrespective of our age, by the way?
Yes, regardless of age and any kind of aspects like that, because the world nowadays is living a moment of feeling. Institution used to ask children or youth, what do you think about that? What do you think about this? Now the question is, what do you feel about that? Because when you say this, you're being truthful, you're being genuine and authentic. And this is the goal nowadays, because you said, well, we've been digging into this kind of knowledge, but knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge is a scholarship, or education. I mean, and education has its place in our lives. But on the other hand, nowadays we need to know what we really are inside. We need to know ourselves. The Spirit Manual in the book, The Consoler. I think you don't have this book in English.
Yeah, no.
He says that we haven't experienced Christianity yet. Key point for us to start experiencing Christianity is self-knowledge and through love, right? And there's a guy, an American Franciscan priest I admire very much. His name is Richard Rohr. And he says something like this: the experiential life living that we need to go through nowadays needs love and suffering. The act of love and the experience of suffering will make us better, will better ourselves. And for this, we do not need only knowledge. We do need to know, of course, it's very important, but it's one very different department from what we need now, because humanity is suffering a lot. We need to get together. We need to hold hands. We need to gather around these goals like peace, joy, just like the title of our conversation now today, and the commitment to know how to love, to learn how to love. This is urgent. If we don't do this, really, according to the spirits, we are about to have a very tragic moment, or more very tragic moments in our humanity. We need to do this urgently. Indeed.
Wow. Thank you so much, Luis Sergio. And this is a constant reminder for all of us. And this is not like a warning or spreading fear, just like an awakening call. It's like there's no time to waste any longer. So before we begin reading Emmanuel's message from the book Living Spring, that is going to lead us into Let Us Follow Peace, as he titled it, let's say just hi to our beautiful community here. Our dear Leia Severo, who has been doing beautiful works on the behind the scenes of Kardec Radio. Thank you, Leia, for your loving presence. Sunshine as well, for the beautiful works that are going to come about. And she's doing also on the behind the scenes. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Leia is in Florida. Sunshine is in California. Danny and our beautiful Erica. Danny, I'm happy to see you got home safe and sound. And you're here. Is in Pennsylvania. Aline, beautiful Aline, how are you? Our beautiful Aline is there in Massachusetts. Andrea Torres, thank you so much, Andrea. You're listening from the app. Thank you for double checking, letting us know that it's going well there in Illinois. Adilson, our dear friend from the Inner Enlightenment Spirit Society in New York. Rihanna, beautiful Rihanna and the family there in South Africa. And reminder to everyone, we are still accepting the donation of English written Spiritist books, of any Spiritist book, to be sent to the group in South Africa after July 4th. Just go to kardecradio.com and get to know more information about how to participate. Beautiful Raquel in New York, our beautiful mom, who is doing so well. Thank you. Solange, how are you? I know Luis, who was there with you guys in Danbury, Connecticut. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Jailton, how are you, Jailton? Here's Jailton, dear friend from the Inner Enlightenment. I love the picture you guys together tonight. Roni Lamar, how are you? Roni, are you still in Davis? Fernanda, how are you? Fernanda, where are you again? I'm sorry, I forgot. If you ever told me, but let us know. Leonardo, Leo, my brother from the greater Baltimore area. Teresa Castro from Vermont. Thank you so much, Teresa, for being with us. Rita de Cássia, our beautiful Rita de Cássia from Atlanta. Blessings to Glaucio and Hilda and all the friends. We're here praying and together. Adolfo Xavier, thank you. Ron, you're still in Davis? Beautiful Davis. What a city. Stay there because Davis needs you. Fernanda from Rio. Thank you, Fernanda, for being with us. And Rudy, thankful for our awakening call hour. Thank you, Rudy, for being here with us. It's great to have you here. And Rafael, hopefully we're going to see you very soon, starting tomorrow. God willing, we'll be there with you guys in your beautiful event this coming weekend. Rafael from Charlotte, North Carolina, reminds me of Chico Xavier, the first Spiritist center that he founded together with Haddad, right there, North Carolina, in Ellen College. I'll never forget, Luis Sergio, when we were there with you guys. And then Geraldinho surprised us. Like, I was so happy that I was young enough not to have, like, a heart attack.
Yeah.
The letter, right? By Chico.
The letter, I remember.
Oh,
It was
Mia.
really amazing, wasn't it? A great surprise to all of us, not only to you.
Right. And, as Rafael line, stop by at the event. It's about the book Thought and Life. Speakers from Brazil, ourselves, and others are going to be there 2 days in a row, different activities. It's about the instruction that is needed, the education of our souls, so we can keep refining our inner transformation. After all, we need to follow peace. That's what Emmanuel tells us. Let us follow peace. And we think, oh, well, Emmanuel, of course. But it doesn't sound second nature, Luis Sergio. And Emmanuel breaks it down in the book Living Spring, chapter 79, that following peace is not second nature. Would you like to read for us, Luis Sergio, so we can start breaking it down? Thank you.
Yes, I think we should, yes, if you don't mind, we should read step by step and talk. Because, What do you think?
Perfect.
Yeah, because let me explain to you guys. Emmanuel was in Brazil here as an incarnate spirit. Padre Manuel da Nóbrega, the priest, a Jesuit, and these guys, they had the highest level of Portuguese in the world. the highest level of Portuguese, we belong. It belongs to them. This kind of the title. They were very good at writing, grammar. The Manuel de Nóbrega was very good at Latin. So these guys wrote very well, and he writes word by word in a very proper way. This, of course, is translated into English, but it doesn't lose, yes, the highest meanings of the words. And of course, as Vanessa said at the beginning of the program, we need to be more practical. So let's try and understand what this benefactor, theologian, which is Manuel da Nóbrega and Emmanuel, tried to give us in terms of knowledge. Let's go step by step. He begins by saying, we quote, "Seek peace and follow it." Peter, this is the first epistle to Peter. The chapter is number 3 and the verse is 11. And he comments, "Many people seek peace, very few follow it. There are those who desire tranquility by any means. They sigh for it and seek it in many places. However, they lose it as soon as the Lord gives them what they ask for." Well, I think the program could be about this too, of the 3 first sentences. But Vanessa, I had a curiosity because, he's talking about peace here, and we are talking about what kind of peace is that? So I had the curiosity to look up the word in the dictionary, and I had the 5 definitions for that. The first 4 definitions are very material. Let's say the first one is the absence of war or hostilities. Number 2, an agreement or a treaty to end hostilities. Number 3, freedom from quarrels and disagreement, harmonious relationships. 4, public security and order. And number 5, last but not least, inner contentment, serenity, peace of mind. That is the point. This is the goal. Peace of mind. But now this is not really very, very fair, Vanessa, but I give it back to you when I ask you, do we look for peace of mind indeed? Because peace of mind means peace of the spirit. Do you understand? And the point is, we usually naturally look for peace in a very physical way only. And when it comes to looking for peace in a physical way only, we need money, and sometimes lots of money. We need power. But in the end, these things turn out not bringing us any peace at all. And we are trapped. So peace of mind is the goal of this message by Emmanuel. And all the time he will say that we're looking for, there are those who desire tranquility by any means. They sigh in places, however, they lose it as soon as the Lord gives them what they ask for. So the Lord is giving them not peace, He's giving them what they asked for, which is not exactly peace of mind.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Luis Sergio, your point. Beautiful breakdown, because he's saying they lose that tranquility the minute they are given what they've asked for.
And what they thought it was the tranquility they were looking for.
Exactly. So some people are like, oh, I'm sure that they get married with that person. I'm going to be so... They get married and, what happened? Or the job. Or it is about a new car. No, this car is giving me so much headache. The day I buy a new one, then I'm going to be so tranquil. And Emmanuel is very to the point. It's, sometimes it impresses me, Luis Sergio, how Emmanuel can be so direct. He goes to the point. He doesn't go around and around. He says,
so straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, to the point, yes.
Exactly. And when he says in the first sentence, many people search for peace, but very few try to follow it. And you got to the core of the message. Yesterday, we discussed with Haiti Patrick about the fact that Emmanuel talks about peace being achieved by this peace of mind. But then, how are we going to achieve peace of mind? You said first, self-knowledge. We need to know who we are. We would just like to send one exercise for everybody, all of us. Scale 0 to 10, friends. Let us measure. It's a subjective measurement, but it's as valid as any other one because it's in your mind. Where do you think you are in terms of following this peace that is founded in your peace of mind? 0 being like, I'm very far away from it. I never wake up thinking, today I'm going to follow peace, and be, in clear conscience. That's never my goal. Or 10, no, every day, that's my goal. From 0 to 10, you have many numbers. It can be even 1.5 or 0.5 if you want. But let's think about this and see where we are, because if we don't feel the scripture, it's to no use. As Jesus said, Nicodemus, we need to feel the scripture. So we need to feel the scripture. Where are we? Where are we? You want to move forward, Luis Sergio?
Yes, I'd like just to point out that Vanessa is talking to you, right, to us, about that kind of peace of mind. Because one more time, we have we are prone to believe that this peace of mind will come from a Pacific island surrounded by luxury pleasure boats, It's not exactly like that. You can have lots of preoccupation and worry on a yacht if the circumstances don't help. You understand? So delusional behavior is something that is for childish. We are not at that age anymore. What Spiritism comes to tell us is that we are aged spirit now. We need more to nourish our souls. This one was for Kardec Radio. We need more. We need more to nourish our souls. Sometimes I talk to people. So of course, after training mediumship for such a long time, we talk to you girl, to you boy, to you man, to you woman, and we see sometimes, look, you are so old. Your spirit guide is saying, come on, I cannot help you anymore because you have a bag full of thousands of dollars of talent inside, but you don't open this bag and don't use it. So how can I ask your mentor for help since the help is in your hand and you haven't made use of any of it? So it makes our life difficult. There's a point at the Gospel according to Spiritism. Allan Kardec, he says something very interesting. I'd like to read it to you that I separated here. He said that we as old spirits, he said, for the spirits of primitives, this is in the Gospel according to Spiritism, who are nearly at the beginning of their spirit lives, incarnation is a means for developing their intelligence. However, for the educated individuals in whom the moral sense is broadly developed, and who are obliged to recommence the steps of a corporeal body full of anguish, when they could have already reached the objective, it is a punishment because of their need to prolong their stay on longer and unfortunate worlds. On the other hand, those who work actively for their moral progress not only shorten the duration of physical reincarnation, but that separate them from the more highly evolved worlds. So just to cut a long story short, he wants to say that when you are an older spirit, and everyone who is trying this spiritual church on earth is a little bit aged, in terms of spiritual life, in terms of many lives on this planet, there is a side effect of of reincarnation. Because we've been here for such a long time that we take advantage of the opportunity of reincarnation just to forget, which is very pleasing, very nice, but we not only forget our resentments, our sad traumas, we forget our commitments. Is a problem. The spirit, as we've just read here, it's full of anguish, full of difficulties, because we just take the opportunity of reincarnation to forget. And this is a side effect, because we need to remember, and the Spiritism, right, under the light of the gospel, the ethical approach of the gospel comes to remind us that we need to remember why we are here for, where it came from, where we need to go, and we need to do this, what Vanessa is telling us. We need to wake up in the morning and say, come on, wake up for sure, not only in the body, wake up in your spirit, you know? That's what we need. The world is shaded by lots of darkness, but the sun is, because we need to do something inside our spirits, inside us, to make the difference, right? And this is the point. Peace, this active peace will come from our inner side. From the point that we decide to dig into our soul, know ourselves, and try to better ourselves step by step, okay, Vanessa? Because sometimes we want to be Francis of Assisi the next day, and this is a moral excuse, because as we are not able to do that, we give up. Oh, come on, the faith is not my pathway, right? No, that's not the point.
No.
Being on the way, walking step by step, is the goal. Is already the goal. Not stopping. So if you are fed up with mud, if you are just stuck in the mud, go on, remove one foot first, and then the other. This is a channel for you to receive help from the Most High.
Yes. You know, Luis Sergio, it's needed, because when Emmanuel says, Emmanuel is asking us to really be fully aware of it. When he begins in the first mass, he tells, let us follow peace, and says, oh, that's great. And then he starts. Many people search for peace, but very few try to follow it. So Emmanuel is helping us, and he's asking us, who are you? Are you the one who is trying to follow it or not? And it doesn't matter if others are or are not. It matters if I am. And you know, if you prefer to stay home, then be in a spiritist center. If you prefer to stay home, then even working at your job. If you prefer to stay home, then being useful to society. Then, if you ask for peace, the tranquility you're looking for does not match the tranquility that will be achieved. You have peace of mind. Because we need to comply. Law of society. Law of charity. Law of justice. Love and charity. You'll never be tranquil and peaceful if you just stay home, indulging in the pleasures of doing nothing, which is called laziness. And I'm not saying to you, dear friends, but we're just saying, breaking it down, because many people, they search for peace thinking, and Emmanuel is going to tell us very soon, in a few paragraphs, he's going to mention exactly what we're talking about. Later, he's going to say, peace is not physical indolence. I'm so much at peace here in Cancun. No, we're not. I was recently in Cancun, I confess. But I don't put my pictures on Facebook. You know why? Because it's not charitable. That you're indulging your vacation and you're telling everybody, oh, you are working, but I'm here living a life. If you're a spiritist and you're doing this, we need to read all these books again because it's not charitable to do this. But I remember when I was in Cancun, neededly, and doing the prayers and still working, but relaxing and enjoying the therapy of being at the beach and in communications with mentor Joseph. He constantly reminded that those could be useful moments when we are by the beach, praying for others. When you enter the sea, the waves of the sea, think of those who are connected to you and ask that those beautiful therapeutic moments they reach them as well. So there is so much that can be done when we are on vacation, as long as we're not selfish, as long as we're not lazy, as long as we're not idle, but constantly useful. I'll let you go through the next paragraphs because of time, Luis Sergio. I
Okay.
don't want to
Mhm.
postpone it.
Okay. So he goes on saying, for example, some people ask for material fortune, thinking it will bring them peace. Nevertheless, with the appearance of abundant wealth, they are tormented by 1,000 problems because they do not know how to distribute help. Well, it comes to the same point. This material fortune is something that many people think of when it comes to thinking about having peace. And it's natural because think you are in a shanty, you are in a shack, living in a slum, right, surrounded by thieves and gunfights, and suddenly you think, oh, if I move to a better place, of course, I'll be in a more peaceful life. Okay, but this is one point of peace. The other point of peace, the peace of mind, not exactly relates to that. One more time. I'll give you an example here with the question 922 with the Spirit's book. In this question 922, Allan Kardec, among other questions, asks, is there nevertheless a common standard of happiness for all men, according to the spirits, has a lot to do with happiness on this planet? What's the happiest state of mind on this planet? Peace of mind, right? Good conscience. So the answers of the spirits come. As regards material existence, it is the possession of the necessaries of life. This is something that is a standard of happiness, the necessaries of life. As regards to moral existence, it is a good conscience and the belief in a future state. So good conscience has a lot to do with this peace of mind. So when Vanessa said that we need to work, we need to help others, we need to do something, we need not be lazy. If we go on vacation, yes, you can rest, but after you rest, come if hundreds of days on vacation, understand? It's natural. And so, yes, sometimes we want the protection of very high spirits, very good mentors, but we're doing nothing for such a long time, and the mentors don't have this kind of free time to help us because they have lots of very important things to do. So there's this point is you may ask, well, but we are very in a very material world, and I agree with you, right? There's a saying by that guy I just referred to at the beginning of our program. His name is Richard Rohr. I'd like to quote here again. He says something like this. Most of us have grown up in a capitalist worldview which makes a virtue and goal out of accumulation, consumption, and collecting. This is true. This is my truth, your truth. As an unsustainable and unhappy trap because all of our rooms are decorated in the same color. It is the only obvious storyline that our children see. He says, I produce, therefore I am. I consume, therefore I am, which might be today's answer to René Descartes, I think, therefore I am. So these identities are all terribly mistaken, according to him. This foundational way of seeing has blinded us so that we now tend to falsely assume more is better. The course we are on assures us of a predictable future of strained individualism, severe competition as resources dwindle for a growing population, and perpetual war. So it's very profound what Emmanuel is saying. It's not that we can't make money, we can't progress, but our goal needs to be different. The goal is peace. So if you're going to do your business, you should give it second thoughts because it will hurt you. If we do remove our state of happiness, which is a good conscience, as the Spirit says in question 922, we need to give it second thoughts, to think twice about that, and ask God to help us, to give it a way out, an exit, for us to make our money in a more proper way, for us to acquire our things, the things that we need, the necessaries, as they say there, in a good way, because, many times we go through hard moments just because God is testing us, is putting us to test, to see how far we go with our honesty, how far we go with our purpose of keeping our conscience in a good state. So that's why Emmanuel is saying the same thing. We look for fortune sometimes. He says again, just to recollect here, he says, for people, some people, as for material, for the appearance of abundant wealth, they are tormented by 1,000 problems. Why? As Vanessa says, I agree with her. She didn't post the pictures on Facebook, not because she has prejudice against this, I believe that, but because she knows that also many people can send bad vibes, bad vibrations to her. And say, come on, she's there, I'm here. Resentment. There's a saying of the Beatles song that say, hey, you got to hide your love away. Right? I think boasting on a planet with so much misery, so much miserable states, right? To boast happiness, I think it's not very advisable, at least, to say the least.
Sergio,
It's not charitable. Yeah, I'm saying to say the least, not very advisable, to say the least,
No, some
And
people are like this, and I'm gonna cut you off here because Emmanuel's gonna say some people ask for marriage, and then I see people who post pictures like their wedding anniversary and how they did it, and I know many people who don't have a partner. I mean, it's okay to post our family pictures. Sometimes Mentor Joseph says, share the pictures of the blessings of motherhood. And I say, why? Because nowadays, motherhood is not truly valued, but it must be rescued. So show the pictures of Virginia, show how you enjoy, how you change your life around, because people really need to rescue the value of parenthood, of motherhood. But we don't do this to show ourselves off. But as you're saying, many people do, and they forget that,
Yes.
keep it to yourself and show to the world the messages that are going to make people joyful because it belongs to them too. And I show the pictures of more, to people who are close, very close, and not or not showing at all. I mean, leave the moment. Don't Don't take the pictures. If you're really living the moment, there's no time to take a picture. A picture becomes secondary. I know people who are barely eating, they're taking a picture of the plate in a restaurant. And it's like, and how can I find peace and go to sleep and feel good about myself if I'm constantly pretending that my life is a constant high?
Mhm.
And that's against charity for sure. For
Yes.
and I don't say this to Adilson. Let me make a comment here. Adilson, you are adorable. You are the photographer of all times, but you're taking pictures of others. You're not there to show the world that your life is on the high. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying what Mentor Joseph has been teaching me. And I think it makes sense that if we want to follow peace, we need to select what we are also sharing on Facebook.
This is very important to highlight. We are not passing any judgment here, people, against anyone. It's just the situation of showing all the time, showing off what you have, what you do, yeah, and sometimes in a very careless way. This is not very good because, for example, I don't know if Vanessa knows about that, but there are a lot of those live casters, those people who film, who shoot themselves all the time, and they show on the internet. They show while they are sleeping, while they're behaving in their relationships, and the situation is very harmful to them because people see them and people vibrate. They the mind interferes in your life, with your life. So I think it's very important for us to say this. All right, Margarida, my friend, is over there. Hello, Margarida. And yes, and I think this is very important for us to be careful. Be careful because many people can be depressed because of this, because of pictures on Facebook, and they don't know the cause for that. I've already talked to young ladies that said, "Look, lessen the number of pictures on Facebook can harm your life completely." And the person, she gave it a break to Facebook on that at that time, and she got better. You know, so it's something that we need to search for everything that can harm our peace of mind. And one of them, because look, what is Emmanuel focusing on this message? He's focusing that we are always, in fact, we need peace of mind because peace of mind is happiness on this planet. But we don't know how to do it. We are very delusional in terms of looking for peace. We look for peace where exactly it's not. There isn't. So, for example, if you look for peace just like in a marriage, there's a chapter in the Gospel according to Spiritism about divorce, and they say that one of the problems of divorce is our choice at the right beginning. Saying that word, affection, respect, hasn't counted. You know? So I remember a friend of mine, she said, Sergio, you think I'm a very materialistic person. Why do you think I think so? Because I always talk about money. I like money. But it's not like that. For example, I love marriage. Marriage comes first in my life. I said, oh, congratulations. And then I said, the problem is that the relationship comes fifth, right? Marriage comes first, but relationship comes fifth. So I said, oh, come on. That's the point. That's the message I'm going to say, right? We go for how I want. And sometimes people, we try to, delude ourselves in the situation. I'm doing this because this is my duty.
Yes.
This is renunciation. Well, the spirits call our attention very much to the empty renunciation. Sometimes we dedicate our lives to our child, to our son, one very master string at the bottom, which is pride, selfishness. And if this is the trigger for your actions, you have to repeat the situation, go back there and try to renounce this renunciation at a higher level. Oh, come on, but I sacrificed everything for my children, but your objective was the wrong one. So
Yeah.
this is very hard. Pay attention to Vanessa. Everything you've been through, your daughter, the difficulties, the hard moments, and and suddenly you discover that you were doing this because, no, this is a vanity. Pure vanity. You wanted to show your child to the world as your trophy, as your cup. You know.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to know ourselves.
It,
We need to know
but
why we are doing things.
that's true. And I actually know, as Emmanuel is saying, that many people have children out of vanity. But only the parents know. Because when you have a child out of vanity, you don't actually take care of the child, somebody else does.
Yeah.
But when you really renounce, like our grandmothers did, our mothers did, like we are doing, giving up our professional career for a while to make sure that the child, because the child has only us to take care of them.
Yeah.
Do our job in the world, there are many more people. We're not indispensable out there, but we are indispensable as father and mother where we are. But in the spiritist way, as Luis Sergio is saying, we're not raising our children for ourselves. We're raising them knowing that they are children of God like us, that they actually are our brother and sister in humanity, and that we need truly, truly, truly to educate them like we would like to be educated, with love and true spiritual awareness. So they are empowered to live in this world and fulfill their reincarnatory plan from the get go, and be prepared that one day they are going to follow their path, and we need to support them, be there for them, encourage them, but they are not ours. And Sergio is very right. And that's when we see many parents losing their peace because they're having children for themselves.
Yes.
And in Spiritism, we learn that our children are not ours. They are of the world. Just a break here. Rihanna is mentioning something we want to highlight. She's mentioned that our friend from our community, Angelita, is traveling to Madagascar, to South Africa, to help the Fraternity Without Borders. And remember, if you are watching this and you want to help, it's a great project. You can help by sponsoring a child, or by donating, or by buying t-shirts. If you want the t-shirts of the Fraternity Without Borders with the English caption, you can buy it. Just write a message to Lea Severo, who is here with us, or go to Angelita. But Lea Severo is here. Go there, order your t-shirts, and you'll be helping them a lot, right? And thank you so much, Rihanna, for this reminder. Now, because we only have 10 more minutes, Luis Sergio.
Okay.
Now, Emmanuel, as practical as he is, he gives us a beautiful, almost like mathematical equation on how we can achieve this, the follow peace. If you go, peace is not physical indolence, it's health and spiritual joy. Then he says, would you like to read the next one, please, Luis Sergio?
If it is true that all seek for peace in their own way, balance between our own wishes and the purpose of the Lord in whatever position we may find ourselves. Oosh.
Yep.
That's it.
That's what we need. So people are like, well, what do I do? Balance between what you want and what God really wants for us, meaning calibrating ourselves to the will of God. Right, Margarida?
That's it. Right. It takes part in our study group here. And difficult for to understand at first, but look, we were talking about having good conscience to have happiness on this planet. And whatever you want to do, give it second thoughts. Think twice and say, what I'm doing is going to hurt people.
Yes.
What I'm doing is going to help. If you are in a conversation, if I'm going to open my mouth to say something, am I going to help? Am I going to cause disturbance, imbalance? I'm going to show empathy by saying this, compassion. I'm going to contribute to the group, or am I going to be the problem of the group? Am I going to be the helper of the group, or am I going to be someone to be, right away from the group, separate from the objectives? Because this is very, very important. When you are in a group, according to Kardec, and I agree with him very much in this, if you are in a group with very different objectives from the group, and you stay in the group, you have second intentions. Why do you stay in a place that nobody agrees with you? You don't agree with anybody, right? So you should leave. Even Calcutta decided to leave, where you're more difficult, and she wouldn't be Christian. She wouldn't be fair if she wanted to force everyone into her behavior. So she left the place and went to do what she wanted to do. She was charitable to the institution where she was, and charitable to herself, honest to herself. So we need to be honest to our intentions, and this is the balance. Because when you do something, you ask, when Emmanuel says, ask God, your desire and the objectives of God towards you are very important to be balanced. Because you need, I need to do this, but what can I do to do this without hurting my conscience? God desire in me. You have your needs, your personal needs, but watch to know that if those needs are not really harmful to others, and you're not going to, get out of the track of the good way.
Exactly, Emmanuel. Or Emmanuel is telling us precisely that. And Luis Sergio, he says here, once we have received the task that heaven has entrusted to us, we have to know how to use the opportunity for our evolution and spiritual growth. Peter said, seek peace and follow it. However, in whatever situation we may find ourselves, there's no real peace without Christ within us. And the formula for integrating our souls with Jesus is invariable. Let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me, unless we as human learners, adapt our efforts to the renewing impulse of the Divine Master. Instead of peace, we will continue to have an ongoing war inside our hearts. So a comment here for all of us is this. I know many people who say, but Vanessa, if I really follow God's will inside of my heart, I'm going to change everything that I do. Good. Do it. No, but Vanessa, then people are not going to understand me. My family's good. You are in the right direction, because Jesus predicted that those who really want to follow him, they need to be courageous enough to face the adversities. For example, Rihanna is mentioning here, her husband and her became spiritists. They are few spiritists there, and her husband was a priest for 16 years, and they're being watched because they just formed a group. So we really need, friends, don't be shy to allow God's light to shine through you. If you say, I'll give an example. I'm not a role model, but I learned it. I learned that part. Don't be shy. I learned not to be shy. That's what I mean. in regards to allowing this light to be. When I realized why I was brought into the United States, I made a choice. I want to stay because at first I want to go back. I came here temporarily for work, but I said, no, no, no. Now I'm going to fight to stay. I'm going to stay because of the Spiritist teachings. Is it easy? No. But if you tell people, they're like, are you kidding me? No, I'm not here for money. I'm not here because of profession. I stay here because of Spiritism. Don't be shy to make choices like this, to make choices driven by the Christ within you. And we're not talking true
Inner
choices.
goals.
Exactly, immortal
Inner goals.
choices, right?
Yes.
Like, for example, you get married to somebody, your life changes. Oh my gosh, but you're supposed to adapt to that new. That's good. You're not supposed to be the same. That's a good marriage. It changed you. Because if it doesn't change you, then there's a problem.
And I'd like, Vanessa, just to highlight one more point because the time is running. You girls, you women there, Rita said something very important here. With love, it comes first, everything gets easier. And one thing I'd like to say is that pray and learn how to pray, to meditate. Because by level of consciousness, and by coming to a higher level of consciousness, you know yourself better. Emmanuel usually says that when we pray, we don't solve the problems, but we shed light over many situations that were really blinding us. So you can guide yourself in a much better way. You can know, oh, come on, I was doing that not with this intention I thought I had. I was doing that with that bad intention. So things get easier. I usually say that women have this sixth sense, and because of that, if they don't pray, they become real witches. You know, they sometimes a woman comes to me and says, "I can't stand myself. What must change much better and faster than with men sometimes, you know, because men is a little bit, you know, drier in the sense." And I think this is something, it's not a recipe, but it's something for us to understand that praying for sure. But start praying. If it's long that you haven't prayed a long time ago and haven't prayed anymore, please sit down and start just like a mantra. Repeat until you start getting some light and, oh, why? I got it. I am now connected to something better. And this is my message because it's at the end, right? And then, who knows, by knowing ourselves better and trying to get away from our dark side and in terms of going to the light, we can reach more peace of mind.
Thank you, Luis Sergio. Thank you for everything, for your joy, for your explanations. But we want to say hi to André Moreira, Cacilda Torres, Laura Colirri, e Ken Jacinto, Rose, Fernanda Barros. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story, okay? Of the story of your mother, of her works, and also of your sister. Thank you. And you know, Luis Sergio, inevitably, because it's about 10 exercises of peace, we play the motto of, it's actually the song of the Peace and New Movement by Nando Cordeiro, now in English. And thank you, dear Adilson, for your always diligent work and your team. You're a team player, Adilson, and that's a peacemaking skill, to be a team player. Thank you so much, and thank you, Luis Sergio. We're going to play right now for everyone, and it's a good song to keep in mind, you know, peace for peace. Let's hear together. Feel free to sing, anyone who is there.
Peace in the world begins with me. When I choose love, inside I'm truly happy. When we are kind to one another, we know true love and greatness in our hearts. The time has come for building peace on earth. We don't believe in the lack of love. Peace for peace. To our children, peace for peace. Our forest, peace for peace. And for the courage to transform. Peace for peace. In truth and justice, peace for peace. And in the freedom, peace for peace. And in the beauty of loving you. Peace in the world begins with me. When I choose love, inside I'm truly happy. When we are kind to one another, we know true love and greatness in our hearts. The time has come for building peace on earth. We don't believe in the lack of love. Peace for peace. To our children, peace for peace. Our forests, peace for peace. And for the courage to transform. Peace for peace. In truth and justice, peace for peace. And in freedom, peace for peace. And in the beauty of loving you. Peace for peace. For our world, peace for peace. In faith and hope, peace for peace. And for the courage to transform. Peace for peace. In truth and justice, peace for peace. And in freedom, peace for peace. And in the beauty of loving you. Peace for peace. To our children, peace for peace. For our forests, peace for peace. And for the courage to transform. Peace for peace. In truth and justice, peace for peace. And in freedom, peace for peace. And in the beauty of loving you.
Thank you, my friend Luis Sergio, and keep up the beautiful work. We love to hear you at Kardec Radio. And
My
now you
pleasure.
have more fans than ever.
No, thanks God. I'm a fan of all of them too. Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity, guys. I love you all. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, friends. Tomorrow, no, today, we're going to have the last day, 10 exercises on peacemaking skill. We hope we're leaving this series feeling more prone to meditating. And as Emmanuel said, let us follow peace. Bye-bye.